16-year-old Jamal Carter presses his forehead lightly against the cool window of the city bus as it rolls through the bright suburban streets of Brookridge, Georgia. The houses look huge, perfectly painted, and surrounded by neat lawns that seem like they were trimmed by laser precision. Everything feels polished, wealthy, and unfamiliar. Jamal clutches the strap of his backpack. It is the same faded black one he used back in South Atlanta, where buildings were older, louder, and where he felt like he belonged. Here, the silence feels heavy. Even the air smells different, like fresh paint and expensive cologne. His father, Marcus Carter, has recently been promoted at his law firm. The move was supposed to mean a better life, better schools, better opportunities. Marcus told him, "You deserve every chance this world has to offer." Jamal believed him. He still does. Mostly. Jamal steps off the bus near the town's central mall, the busiest place he could find on the map. He wants to explore, maybe buy new headphones if he sees something cool. His sneakers scuff against the clean pavement. Cars pass by and he notices drivers staring a second too long. It is a look he recognizes. Curious, suspicious, like he is the only page from a different book. He takes a breath and reminds himself why he's here. This is a fresh start. People don't know him yet. They could become friends. He could join the tech club at his new school, maybe even the basketball team if he's lucky. Inside the mall, the air conditioning hits his skin like a cold wave. Bright lights reflect off shiny floors. Groups of teens dressed in trendy clothes laugh loudly as they walk past him. Every store window is filled with things he has only seen online. The newest gaming consoles, designer shoes, smartwatches. His eyes widen at the sight of a popular electronics store. Screens blinking in neon blues and greens, music playing from massive speakers. He feels a flicker of excitement. This is perfect, he whispers to himself. A simple moment. A teenager wanting to look at cool tech. Something every kid his age should be able to do. Yet under all that excitement, a quiet worry lingers in his chest. A question he doesn't want to ask, but cannot escape. Will they see me as just another boy? Or something else? Jamal tightens the straps of his backpack and decides to walk inside anyway. A new beginning deserves courage, even if it hurts a little. The entrance bell chimes softly as Jamal steps into the electronics store. A wall of sound hits him immediately. Upbeat pop music, customers chatting, machines humming. The place feels alive. His eyes light up as he walks along a row of sleek headphones displayed on shining racks. He reaches out, running his fingers gently across a pair of wireless ones he has dreamed of owning. For a second, the world feels normal. He can almost imagine himself coming here every weekend. Then a voice cuts the air like a knife. "Hey, what do you think you're doing?" Jamal turns around. A tall, broad-shouldered security guard in a gray uniform stares him down. His name tag reads, Miller. The man's posture is rigid, one hand on his belt as if expecting trouble. Jamal straightens up, confused but polite. "I'm just looking around. I'm thinking about buying a pair of—" "You heard me." Miller steps closer. The lights reflect off his shaved head and sharp jawline. His voice grows louder, drawing attention. "You need to get out of here. Now!" Jamal freezes, eyes widening. "I didn't do anything." The guard scoffs, folding his arms. "Kid like you? Backpack on? Dressed like that?" He gestures at Jamal's worn sneakers and hoodie. "You're here to steal. I know how this works." Several shoppers stop and stare. Some whisper. Others avoid looking directly at Jamal, but their silence feels like judgment pressing down on his chest. Jamal's heart begins to race. This can't be real. Not again. He tries to stay composed. "My dad works nearby. I just moved here. I'm allowed to shop like everyone else." Miller laughs, a cold, humorless sound. "Allowed? You think this is your kind of store?" He moves even closer, invading Jamal's space. "You don't belong in Brookridge. Take your attitude back to where it came from." Jamal's hands clench around his backpack straps. Shame burns in his eyes as he tries to speak. "You're wrong about me. I'm not—" "Save it." The guard grabs Jamal's arm, gripping tighter than necessary. "We're done here. Out. Before I call the police." The word police hits Jamal like a punch to the gut. Even when innocent, he knows how bad things can get fast for someone who looks like him. Customers form a small audience now. Phones in their pockets, judgments in their eyes. None of them step forward. No one says a word. Miller pushes him through the entrance with a final shove. The bell rings again. This time, it sounds like a door slamming shut on his dignity. Jamal stumbles outside, breathing hard. The bright sun feels harsher now. He wipes his eyes before tears can fall. He came here to feel like he belonged. Instead, he has never felt more alone. Jamal steps further away from the store doors, the guard's last words echoing in his head like a bad song stuck on repeat. You don't belong here. You're kind. Steal. Police. He drops onto a nearby bench, his legs suddenly too weak to hold him. His palms are sweaty, shaking slightly as he pulls out his phone. The screen blurs for a moment through the tears collecting in his eyes, but he refuses to let them fall in public. He has learned that tears only give people more reason to judge. He dials his father. The call rings once, twice, then voicemail. Dad, it's nothing. Just call me back when you can. He hangs up quickly before the crack in his voice can betray the hurt inside him. Around him, the mall continues with its perfect sunny day. People laugh as if the world is kind and fair. Kids with shopping bags joke with each other. Couples stroll hand in hand without a single worry. Jamal lowers his head. He wishes he could disappear into the concrete. Then he hears giggles, quiet at first, then louder. He glances to the side and sees a small group of white teenagers about his age, leaning against a railing. One of them pulls out their phone and points it toward him as another imitates being a security guard, pushing an invisible person and saying, Hey, you look like trouble, boy. Get out of our mall. The group bursts into cruel laughter. Jamal's chest tightens. His jaw locks. He wants to shout at them, tell them they know nothing about him, that he is not a stereotype, not a criminal, just a kid. Instead, he remains silent, because he knows the world often doesn't listen to boys who look like him until it's too late. He stares at the pavement, wishing he could go home, wishing he could be anywhere but here. For a moment, he imagines walking back to the electronics store, demanding an apology, proving he has the right to be treated like a human being. The thought lasts only seconds. His courage has been knocked out of him like air from a balloon. He feels small, like the world has shrunk around him and left him no space to breathe. His phone buzzes in his hand, a notification from his new school. Welcome to Brookridge High. We're excited to have you. The message mocks him. Excited to have him? Really? He lets out a shaky breath and wipes his eyes again. Maybe this town isn't meant for him. Maybe his dad made a mistake moving them here. Jamal pulls his hoodie tighter and tucks into himself like a shield. For the first time since the move, he feels afraid of the future. Then a soft voice interrupts his spiraling thoughts. Sweetheart, are you okay? Jamal lifts his head slowly. A kind-looking older woman, Mrs. Cunningham, stands a few steps away, concern in her eyes. She holds a shopping bag in one hand and a purse over her shoulder. The teens nearby fall silent. They weren't expecting anyone to care. Jamal blinks, unsure whether to trust this moment. He says nothing. Mrs. Cunningham takes a cautious step closer. I saw what that guard did to you. That was wrong. Jamal's throat tightens. For the first time since entering the mall, someone sees him, not as a threat, not as a stereotype, but as a young man who has just been hurt. Jamal takes a slow breath, still fighting the wave of embarrassment choking him. He wipes the corner of his eye with the back of his sleeve, hoping Mrs. Cunningham didn't notice. She does. She notices everything. My name is Margaret Cunningham, she says gently, her voice warm and steady. I've lived in this town for 35 years, and I've never been prouder than when I get to stand up for what's right. Jamal looks down, unsure how to respond. No one usually does, he mumbles. Mrs. Cunningham kneels a little to meet his eyes, her expression soft but firm. Well, I will. That guard had no reason to treat you like that. You didn't do a thing wrong. Behind them, the teens who mocked Jamal earlier begin to disperse, suddenly uninterested now that someone has broken the silence. They slip away like shadows, avoiding light. Mrs. Cunningham notices their retreat and shakes her head. People love to watch injustice. Few love to challenge it. Her words land heavy in Jamal's chest. She stands and brushes dust from her skirt. Come on. Let's go talk to the mall manager. I saw everything, and I will not stay quiet. Jamal hesitates. His stomach knots at the idea of going back inside. That store feels poisoned now. The memory's still fresh and raw. I I don't want to make it worse, he whispers. Mrs. Cunningham places a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Listen to me. You did nothing wrong. When someone tries to take away your dignity, you have every right to demand it back. Jamal looks up at her. For the first time since he arrived here, he feels a flicker of confidence. Someone believes him. Someone is willing to stand by him. He nods slowly. Mrs. Cunningham smiles, proud of his courage. That's better. Let's go. As they walk back inside, the mall feels different. The air is still cold, the floor is still shiny, but now Jamal is not a lonely target. He has an ally, a witness, a voice beside his own. Shoppers glance at them with curiosity. They had seen the humiliation, but never expected a challenge. Whispered conversations trail behind them as they head toward the customer service office. Jamal's heartbeat thuds in his ears, but he keeps moving. Every step forward feels like reclaiming something that was taken. Mrs. Cunningham approaches the counter, where a young woman stands nervously adjusting her name tag, as if sensing conflict from a distance. We need to speak with your manager, Mrs. Cunningham says with calm authority. It concerns a very serious incident. Jamal stands tall beside her. He doesn't speak yet, but his silence is no longer fear. It is strength gathering, ready for its moment. He reminds himself of something his father always said. Justice is not silence. Justice is a voice. Today, that voice begins with him. Inside the small office, the air is thick with tension. A mall manager named Mr. Douglas sits behind his polished desk, reviewing paperwork. His slicked-back hair and stiff collar make him look like a man who values order more than fairness. Mrs. Cunningham wastes no time. Your security guard aggressively removed this young man from the electronics store for no reason, she begins, pointing toward Jamal. He profiled him, in front of everyone. The manager glances briefly at Jamal, then at Mrs. Cunningham. I'm sure there was a misunderstanding. There was no misunderstanding, she interrupts, eyes blazing. I watched it happen. Mr. Douglas visibly shifts in his seat, annoyed by her confidence. Where is Miller now? She asks sharply. The manager presses a button on his intercom. Miller, office. Now! Moments later, the office door swings open. Security guard Miller strides in, still wearing that same smug expression Jamal saw earlier. He stands tall, chin up. You dragged me away from my duties, he says with irritation. Mrs. Cunningham's jaw tightens. Your duties? Bullying a child? Miller scoffs. He looked suspicious. Kids like him often cause problems. I did my job. Jamal's hands curl into fists. He wants to shout at Miller, tell him exactly what kind of kid he is. A kid with dreams. A kid who deserves respect. Mr. Douglas tries to settle things. Well, if calling his guardian will resolve this. I already tried, Jamal says quietly. My dad is working. Give me the number. I'll speak with him, the manager demands. Jamal types his father's number with trembling fingers. Mr. Douglas dials. The phone rings once, twice. Then a strong voice answers. This is attorney Marcus Carter speaking. Mr. Douglas straightens immediately, his tone shifting from irritated to cautious. Yes, Mr. Carter. I have your son here. Marcus's voice sharpens like a blade. What happened to my son? The manager stammers through a vague explanation, trying to soften the truth. But Marcus has a trained ear. Someone racially profiled my child, didn't they? Silence. Miller shifts nervously now. Marcus ends the call with a promise. I'll be there in 10 minutes. When that 10 minutes passes, the office door swings open again. This time, everyone stands a little straighter. Marcus Carter walks in wearing a flawless navy suit, polished shoes, and a glare that could melt steel. His presence radiates authority. He goes directly to Jamal, placing a steady hand on his shoulder. You okay, son? Jamal nods, but his eyes glisten. Yes, sir. Marcus turns, his voice calm but powerful. I am a partner at Carter and Blake Law Firm, specializing in civil rights violations. I hope you understand the severity of what happened here today. Mr. Douglas swallows hard. His face drains of color. We take discrimination very seriously, Mr. Carter. Marcus steps closer, his jaw firm. Then prove it. His gaze locks on Miller. You laid hands on my son without cause. You humiliated him publicly. You assumed he was a criminal because of his skin color. That isn't security. That's prejudice. And prejudice has legal consequences. The room is no longer on Miller's side. The power dynamic shifts completely. Miller, suddenly unsure of himself, drops his eyes. Mr. Douglas rushes to speak. We will open a formal investigation. Mandatory training will be implemented immediately, and Miller will be removed from public duty until further notice. Marcus nods slowly, but his eyes never leave the guard. One more thing, he says. You will apologize to my son. The entire office freezes. Miller's jaw clenches. Jamal looks at him, not with fear, with strength. Finally, through gritted teeth, Miller mutters, I'm sorry. Jamal doesn't respond. He doesn't need to. The apology belonged to his dignity, not to his pride. Marcus squeezes his shoulder again, proud. The battle isn't fully won yet, but the balance has changed. A week later, Brookridge Mall holds a community meeting in the large atrium near the food court. Rows of folding chairs fill the space, and a portable microphone stands at the front. Posters reading, equality, respect, accountability, hang on nearby pillars. The event was requested by Marcus Carter himself, and the mall had no room to refuse. Families settle into their seats. Teenagers whisper in clusters. Employees gather behind the crowd, shifting uncomfortably. The air buzzes with curiosity and tension. Jamal stands near the side, fingers gripping the edge of his jacket. His heart thumps loudly. He has never spoken in front of a crowd before. He wonders if they will listen to him, or if they will only see what they want to see. Mrs. Cunningham appears at his side like a guardian angel. You are not alone, she says softly. You have the truth. Let them feel it. Jamal nods. He tries to breathe through the fear. On a small stage, Mr. Douglas steps to the microphone. He clears his throat, his usual confidence shaken. We are here to address an incident of racial bias that occurred in our mall. Our security staff failed to treat a customer with fairness and respect. His voice cracks a little. We deeply regret the harm caused. He gestures to Marcus. Mr. Carter asked to speak. Marcus moves forward with calm authority. His suit looks sharp, but his expression is focused on something deeper than appearances. My son was judged by the color of his skin, he says, every word crisp. Not by his actions, not by his character. That is a wound that does not disappear when someone says sorry. It is a reminder that many children grow up knowing they must defend their right to exist in places that welcome others without question. The crowd shifts uneasily. Some bow their heads. Marcus looks at Jamal. Justice grows stronger when the person who was harmed chooses to speak. My son has something to say. Jamal swallows hard. His legs feel stiff as he steps onto the stage. The microphone seems too tall until Marcus lowers it for him. 100 eyes stare at him at once. For a moment, his voice stays silent in his throat. Then he remembers how Miller shoved him, how the teens laughed, how he felt invisible. That memory fuels his courage. I just wanted to look at headphones, he begins, voice steadying. I wanted a normal day. Instead, I was told I did not belong here. I was treated like a criminal. No one stepped in. No one asked if it was true. He scans the crowd. Some people cannot meet his eyes. I was scared. Not of what I did, because I did nothing. I was scared of what they thought of me. I do not want any other kid to feel like that again. A hush falls over the audience. Even the teenagers who mocked him earlier stand frozen, their faces pale with guilt. Jamal takes a breath. My dad always says we should fight for what is right. I am trying. I hope this place becomes somewhere people like me feel safe. When he finishes, applause erupts. Not a polite tap of hands, a real rising wave of support. Mrs. Cunningham stands first, clapping with tears in her eyes. Others follow. People cheer his name. Some shout, "Yes, thank you." A few teens who once laughed now look ashamed, clapping slower but with sincerity. Jamal feels something new inside him. Not just relief, pride, self-worth, strength. He looks up at his father. Marcus smiles, eyes shining with admiration. Jamal is not invisible. He is seen. He is heard. He is powerful. Days turn into weeks. News about the incident spreads through the town, shared on local social media pages, and whispered about in school hallways. But the talk isn't about scandal anymore. It's about change. It's about Jamal. The mall follows through on every promise. Staff receive anti-bias and de-escalation training. Visible signs appear at each entrance. Everyone belongs here. Zero tolerance for discrimination. Security guard Miller doesn't patrol the mall anymore. Rumor says he is in mandatory retraining, monitored closely. No one laughs about that. Not anymore. One Saturday afternoon, Jamal and Marcus return to the mall. This time, Jamal walks confidently, shoulders squared, head high. His father gives him a proud side glance but doesn't say a word. He doesn't have to. The pride is obvious. They step into the electronics store. The same bright lights, the same rows of gadgets. Only the atmosphere feels different. A store employee, a young white man with soft eyes, approaches Jamal with a friendly smile. "Hey there. Let me know if you want to try anything. We're glad to have you." Simple words, but for Jamal, they mean the world. He tries on a pair of sleek wireless headphones. When he looks to his dad for approval, Marcus smirks and nods once. "Take them," he says. At the register, the cashier rings them up with genuine respect. No suspicion, no stares, just normal human decency. As they leave the store, a group of teens from his school spot him. Two of them were among those who laughed at him that first day. They approach carefully. "Hey, Jamal," the tallest one says, rubbing the back of his neck. "We were jerks. We're sorry for everything." Jamal studies their faces. He sees embarrassment, regret, something else too, growth. "It's okay," Jamal replies. "Let's just do better from now on." The teens nod eagerly and invite him to join their tech club meeting next week. Jamal accepts. When he and Marcus walk outside, the sunlight feels warmer than before, brighter, like the town itself finally acknowledges he belongs here. They pass the new sign again, the bold letters shining in the afternoon glow. Everyone belongs here. Jamal stops to read it. Once, twice. The message sinks deep into his heart. He turns to his father, a small smile on his lips. "I think I'm going to be all right here." Marcus puts an arm around his son's shoulders. "You're more than all right," he says. "You're a leader." Jamal takes one more look at the mall behind him. The place where he was pushed out. The place where he fought back. The place he changed. Not just for himself, for everyone who comes after. Then he walks forward. Not afraid, not alone. A place to belong, finally found.